Did I ever tell y'all about the time I hit the lottery? Lord have mercy, that was the best. I felt like $1,000,000. Now, I didn't hit for $1,000,000, but I felt like $1,000,000. There's no greater feeling. I mean, you just feel your eyes get big. You get the shaking and you just can't believe it when you see those numbers. Man, I'm telling you, that's the best. It's the best feeling. So anyway, let me tell y'all. So back in October of 2021, your girl hit the lottery. It was the best. So at the time, I was in a low financial state. I was the caregiver for my mother, my grandmother, and my special needs niece. My grandmother, I think my grandmother had just passed, but so there was just my mother and my special needs niece and I in the house. But my special needs niece, I put her in a day program. My brother, her father, had passed away the year before that. Okay, he paid in October the year before that, and I hit in October, the following year. So anyway, he had passed away year before that. She was 17. I've always been in her life. Her mother passed when she was 13, and I always helped all three of them because all three of them were disabled. So, and my brother and I have always been close, and everybody just, I guess it was natural that I would be the guardian for my niece. So I became her guardian. So she was at her day program, and it was just my mom and I fixed mom's breakfast. And so I just sat down on the couch and I got on my phone and I just was playing the Virginia lottery online. So I'm just sitting there, and I don't think I had no more. I know I didn't have any more than about $50. And so I was chancing that. So I'm sitting there and I'm playing online and everything. It was a new game. So I said, let me try this little game out. So I tried the game out, then I hit for like 200 and some. I was like, oh, this is great. So I hit again for like 200 and some. So that put me at like almost $500. I'm like, I'm gonna kind of stick here and just see what happens. So anyway, so I upped it a little bit once I got to about 400. So I upped it to $5, my bet to $5. So y'all up that bet to $5. Next thing I know, that thing say, boom, ding, 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 ding. Man, them numbers started rolling around and my eyes got bigger and bigger. And I'm like, I'm hitting this thing. And the jackpot was like the jackpot was $114,000. I hit that thing for $114,000. Felt amazing. I'm just sitting there and frozen because I can't believe it. I jump up off that couch. I run in my mom's room and I say, Mom. But I tried not to, scare her or startle her because, she's already sick. My mom was like, I don't know, at that time she was about 75% bedridden, in bed a lot, So I'm like, Mom, guess what? I just hit the lottery. I can't believe it. Oh my God, I'm like, oh my God, And so mom sat up a little bit. She said, what? I said, I hit the lottery. I said, look, Mom, look, but Mom won't really as excited as she normally would have been had she not been feeling well. Because you know how it is. When you're not feeling well, you don't care about nothing. Nothing matters to you but your health. And so I understood that. So anyway, she was like, oh my goodness. So I know my mom got on the phone. She got up some strength, baby, and she got on that phone and called some of my siblings or whatever, telling them about it or whatever. So the news, I don't like my business being out. I don't like telling everything. I keep my stuff to myself. However, I know Mom did that. I asked her not to, but I know she did it and I'll tell you why later. So anyway, so I'm all excited. So I think I called my daughter after that and I told my daughter. So I called the lottery board. And when I called the lottery board, they told me where to come, which here in Richmond, Virginia, it's on Parham Road. So I called my sister. I said, I need you to come. I got to go take care of some business. I need you to come and sit with mom, and Doris will be getting out of from the center soon. So, or whatever, because I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I need you to come and sit with mom. So she said, okay, no problem. Thank goodness. Everything was just falling into place, y'all. So, so I went on to the lottery board, and so when I started talking to the lady at the counter, she was telling me the things I need. I had my driver's license, and I needed my tax forms, to show that I previous tax where I'd filed, right? So I didn't have any with me. I didn't know that's what I needed to bring. I'm like, oh my Lord. So I had to leave. I left to go and try to find my tax papers. Couldn't find them. Was probably during one of my moves. Oh my God, that's a whole nother story, Lord, because I done moved so much, child. So anyway, couldn't find my tax form, so I went back to the lottery board and I said, hey, I asked the lady, I said, now I know I can find my tax forms in my email on my phone. Can I show it to you that way? She said, oh, sure, that's fine. She said, just email it to me. I said, no problem. So I found it, pulled it up, and emailed everything to them. So they took me in the conference room. They gave me a shirt and balloons and the big, of course, the big lottery check, and they take pictures of you and everything. And then they took me in the conference room, and the media lady, she wanted to talk to me about, the experience hitting the lottery, what my situation was at the time. Broke. That's what my situation was at the time, because even though I'm a realtor and I think I had a couple of deals on the table, but I was taking care of mom, so I really had to slow down in working. I could call my sisters or whatever and get them to come and sit with her, if I needed to go show a house or something like that. But for the most part, it was still kind of COVID was still going on, and the market wasn't all that, but I wasn't doing bad. I might have had a couple of deals on the table, but I wasn't able to keep stuff in the pipe, because once again, I'm the caregiver for mom. So anyway, so I'm telling her all that's going on, and she was like, oh, that's so good. I'm so happy for you. You got good, because you know how people always tell you you're going to have good luck. Whenever you're the caregiver for, especially like you taking care of your parents, people always say, and I know it might sound cliche, but people always say you're going to have some good luck. You're going to be blessed taking care of your parents or whatever. And so it was a blessing, the best feeling ever, So I was just sharing it with the media lady, all the things that I was going through, and that I had to take care of my mom, and I'm taking care of my niece. I was taking care of my grandmother, and all of this, all three people at one time. Of course, my sister helped, but for the most part, my grandmother lived with my mom, but anyway. So they asked me, how did I want my money? And I told them I want, because you had the option to get a check or you can get direct deposit. I opted for direct deposit. They took 13% taxes right off top. Y'all, I felt like, it was the best feeling. So I cashed out at about $83,000 and some change. So I'm happy. But my money didn't hit until the following day. So I called the kids, and I told the kids, I said, because I'd already told my daughter, and I probably told my sons too at that time, but I called the kids and I told the kids, I said, look, let's meet at your brother's house, so that because I want to give all of you something, So I gave all my kids something, a piece of change, not just a piece, nice little piece of change. And I bought my two older granddaughters a car, used cars, of course, and then after that, I gave other people stuff. Mom had told some people that I hit, so I got people calling me, borrowing money, and because when people know you got a big heart, they will take advantage of it, and they'll ask you for help and stuff. And ain't nothing wrong with helping people, but for the most part, when things that major happen, I keep my mouth shut. So anyway, made a few loans, money that I didn't get back, child. Some of it, maybe not all of it. But child, people will use you. People will be so nice to you, so kind to you, and forget. They'll forget. I really am very upset with myself because I squandered a lot of the money. I squandered God's blessing, and I could kick myself for that. But I did take the money, and I had a much needed, I really needed to get away because hadn't had a vacation in years. I was the caregiver once again for, my mother and my niece and, my grandmother, and before she had passed, and I was just tired. So I went away, I got an Airbnb on the water, and just, I let a friend go with me, y'all. I let somebody go with me, no hanky-panky, but I let somebody go with me, and they ruined that trip for me. Ruined it. Got on my nerves, used me, because I helped them a lot too. They had a lot of bills and things that they needed help with. I had sold them a house, and I even, because they were so close to me, I even forfeited some of my commission so that they could get the house, because they really couldn't afford the house. So I forfeited some of my commission so that they could get the house, and sure enough, they got the house, but then they couldn't afford the house, and so they needed some help. And so when I hit the lottery, and who you think I helped them? Well, I need a vacation too, and I let them come, but it was the worst thing I ever did. So I ended up, after I dropped them off and let them, heart too big heart. So after I dropped them off, after that week, I dropped them off, talked to my sister again, say, look, I took so-and-so with me, shouldn't have done that, biggest mistake I made, they used me. And I wasn't expecting anything from the person. I just really knew that they had just lost their job. They had hit hard times as well. And I'm big on, not kicking people when they're down. So anyway, took that person back home and went again, and took me another week. My sister said it was okay. Of course, I compensated her. She said it was okay. And y'all, I had the time of my life, the most relaxing time, and I was able to pay for it. I wasn't worrying about money. I didn't have those worries, and it just felt good. Now, let's be clear. I'm a six-figure earner. Okay, I was earning six figures every year for the past 10, 15 years, right? So money wasn't necessarily a big deal anyway. But at that time, because I had to give up and not work as much so that I could be there for my mother and my family, I wasn't, making any money. I wasn't bringing anything in. Plus COVID had hit. So I wasn't bringing the money in that I had been bringing in. So anyway, long story short, I came on back, best, most relaxing time. I went through that money though, y'all. I went through that money. It was a blessing, but also if you get a lot, it can be a curse as well. So let me tell you, so at the end of the day, I will say this. Hitting the lottery is an amazing feeling. It is an awesome feeling. It's an unbelievable feeling. Just if you ever do, just please keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Go somewhere so you can get your head right. Don't dig in the money too fast. Don't spend too fast. Give yourself some time, okay? And let me tell you something. Don't tell the people, only the people that you really need to know, like your children or something like that. Don't tell nobody else, okay? Keep your mouth shut, all right? And let me say this other thing about gambling, okay? Gambling ain't nothing to play with, all right? I know that it all too well as well. Gambling ain't nothing to play with. Don't go out here gambling money that you cannot afford to lose. It's the biggest mistake you will ever make. Just like hitting the lottery feels amazing, gambling and not hitting and giving and losing everything you got feels the worst. It 10 times worse. It's the worst feeling to walk away knowing that you don't have another dime, knowing that you don't know where your rent is going to come from, where your mortgage is going to come from, where paying your utilities, car notes, and the things, because you ain't going to think about that when you're sitting in that chair, especially if you're at the casino or wherever you are. Whatever you gambling, you're not going to think about it. So take your time and realize that gambling ain't nothing to play with. But if you can do it, and you can do it responsibly, and please don't take this video and say, oh Lord, let me go and play online, and just not think about what you're doing. Make sure you have that certain amount set aside to gamble, because It feels good. It's wonderful. It's a great feeling if you hit. But baby, it is the worst feeling if you don't. Take it from somebody that know, especially if you don't hit and you ain't got nothing else and you broke and you down to your last. That is when it is the worst feeling. But in the meantime and in between time, that was how it was for me when I hit the lottery. And I'm going to tell you, if God ever blesses me with that opportunity again, okay, let me tell you this. I ain't telling nobody except my children. Now, I might tell them, but other than that, I ain't telling nobody else. Have an amazing day.